Hello, we'll start the next part. Assume an time dependency, time an e to the power j omega t. This term represents the time dependence. So we can express the field. Let it be E. This field can be written as this amplitude term E naught into this phasor term, that is j omega t. This expression is phasor form, is in phasor form. So if we go for the t will give rise to E naught e to the power j omega t divided by dt, that is equals to again j omega E naught e to the power j omega t. So again this term we can mark the same term, it repeat, that means implies this t e divided by dt is equals to j omega, that term, initial term I have taken, the same one, this one we get here along with additional j omega. So we can relate that this t by dt is in phasor form, or in your frequency domain we can write like this, it in j omega. So using this we can write the Maxwell's equations in phasor form. The first one, the curl of this electric field can be written in this manner, it can be written as j omega b minus this magnetic current density. Similarly, del cross H can be written as j omega flux density, electric flux density, plus this electric current density. Now we have the divergence of electric flux density equals to rho. These two are remain same. They are remaining same. Okay. Here, the Fourier transform can be used to convert a solution to Maxwell's equation for an arbitrary frequency, that is your omega in this case. Here it is an arbitrary frequency, to a solution for arbitrary time dependence, that previous one. So it relates these two, frequency to time. So now from this we can define another two, like from the equation number 2, like del cross H is equals to j omega d plus j, let me erase, okay. Now in this place I can write j, or here this j is conduction current density, j is conduction current density, and this term, so we can replace like this. This is the first term, we can write as your jd plus jc. So this is equals to j previously I have written. So now this term is your jd is known as displacement current or diffusion current. So now the total current density, let it be j total, J total can be written as the summation of this JD or this conduction current density that previously we have defined and displacement current density JD. So, we know that this Ohm's law suggests that this conductivity into electric field is equals to Jc, and previously as we have defined from J omega, this displacement current density is J omega d. So, here we can write sigma E plus J omega, this d can be written as epsilon E, this is the permittivity of the medium, which is equals to E taken common. So, we will have sigma plus J omega epsilon into E. Now, this term will have, if you take J omega epsilon as common, J omega E as common, J omega is common, then we will have epsilon this term I can take common J omega plus this sigma by J omega, which simply can be written as J omega E into epsilon minus J sigma by omega. If you take this J to the numerator side, then it will be negative. Now, we will have this E, what is the effective permittivity, or that is your defined as another term, let it be epsilon effective. Let this term epsilon effective is this one, this is your epsilon minus J sigma by omega. This is your loss, or it is your effective permittivity. Let this epsilon, this permittivity, it can be, this has a complex permittivity. So, we can write it as epsilon equals to the real part epsilon bar minus J epsilon double bar. Okay. So, now here if we can replace this, the effective permittivity can be written as, by applying this, here we can write epsilon dash minus the J epsilon double dash minus J sigma by omega. Okay. So, now this is your effective epsilon or permittivity. Then we can write this equation like epsilon effective is equals to the real part, that is the actual permittivity, that minus the loss related to the damping, dielectric damping, that is the terms is your J. If I take common J, then it will be epsilon plus sigma by omega. So, this term equates to epsilon minus J omega epsilon double dash plus sigma by omega. So, this is the total loss factor. So, here we can have this epsilon dash is the real permittivity of the medium. So, which can be defined as the epsilon naught, the free space permittivity to the relative permittivity of that medium, and epsilon double dash, it is the imaginary part, which is the loss related to dielectric damping, that is that we can say, and sigma is the conductor loss. This part sigma, here you can relate that it is your conductor loss, and this part, this dielectric damping, is this loss can be written as omega epsilon double dash. So, this imaginary part. Now, we will have the loss tangent. The loss tangent at a certain frequency, because you can mark this loss which is related to the dielectric damping, it is related to frequency, omega term is there. So, the loss tangent is defined at different frequencies for a particular medium. So, or for a particular dielectric, loss tangent at certain frequency can be written as, this is the tan delta, the imaginary part, this one, that is your omega epsilon double dash plus sigma divided by omega, this is the imaginary part, divided by your real part, that is equals to epsilon dash, which is equals to omega epsilon double dash plus sigma divided by omega epsilon dash. So, this is your loss tangent for a particular medium. Now, for a lossless dielectric medium, if we consider for a lossless dielectric medium, a lossless dielectric medium, we know that this sigma tends to 0 or it is equals to 0. So, that means we will have this loss tangent, that is your tan delta equals to epsilon double dash by epsilon dash. So, this term we will have, and this can be relates in this manner. If this is your epsilon and this is your epsilon effective, this is your this with an angle of delta, implies applying this we can write like this, the effective epsilon equals to minus j, for a lossless condition we can write like this, which is equals to epsilon dash minus j epsilon dash tan delta, or your complex permittivity that is defined is equals to epsilon naught epsilon r. If you take common from here both epsilon, so we will have minus j tan delta. So, this is your complex permittivity of their medium. Okay. Another important thing is your modes of the propagation. What are the different modes of electromagnetic wave propagation? So, first one is one transverse electric and magnetic mode. Transverse electric magnetic field or mode. Okay. So, in this case we can have like if the wave is propagating in a positive z direction, and you will have x, this is y. So, in x direction we will have magnetic field, in y direction we will have electric field, and in the z direction wave is propagating. So, we call that this k wave, that is the direction of propagation in z direction, is the propagating wave in positive z direction. So, it can be defined as, which is equals to, this leads to implies k can be written as in the z direction. Okay. This is your propagating wave in z direction. So, in TEM mode, transverse electric and magnetic mode, no component of electric field and magnetic field are lying in the direction of propagation. So, simply we can write that E dot k is equals to 0 and H dot k equals to 0. So, that means no wave is propagating in this direction. So, here you can write E z, this E z equals to 0 and H z equals to 0, these two components leads to 0, and this mode it can support frequency from DC to a particular cutoff frequency. If the frequency is more than that particular cutoff frequency, then there will be no pure TEM mode, no pure TEM mode. So, that will be known as quasi TEM mode. Okay. So, next one is transverse electric, second mode is TE. TE is your transverse electric. The transverse electric, this Z component of electric field leads to 0. So, that means Ez equals to 0 and Hz is present along the direction of propagation. And finally, we have another mode that is called TM mode. TM mode is transverse magnetic mode, where the magnetic component in z direction, that is, can be written or Hz equals to 0. Okay. And other field components like electric field has components along x, y and z direction. Okay. So, we will stop here and we will continue the next part. Thank you.